Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy Wednesday. We are just 3 days away from the Chiefs' first preseason game of the 2025 season. I know that we are all excited to see what kind of talent that Andy Reid puts out on the field, but there is one player that has been impressive in camp, a newcomer for the Chiefs, and he's ready to put his talents against another NFL team and show that he should be a lock for the 53-man roster. We're going to dive into that and more here in a second, but before we do, I shouldn't have to tell you twice, but I'm going to anyways. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, you heard me correctly, daily videos here at Chiefs Latest, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the action, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we know that free agency is still very active, as we just saw our AFC West foes, the LA Chargers. They were able to snag Keenan Allen on Tuesday night. That is someone that I said the Chiefs should have gone after, and I think it would have been a great replacement for when Rice faces his suspension that is going to be handed down here, I would assume, very soon. But this is still showing that teams are going to make some moves before their preseason games. And while Casey's offense, I believe, missed out, there is still a defensive name in free agency that is tied to Kansas City, and that is safety Marcus Williams. Now, the Ravens cut Williams back in March of 2025, 3 years after their $70 million splash. His 2024 season was rough. He was benched after week 12. He allowed a 148.4 passer rating on 18.4 yards per completion and 9 starts. So they were targeting him. And when they targeted him, for the most part, it worked out and he allowed the big plays. So, yeah, that's scary, but his 8-year resume shows that there still is some promise of old. 470 tackles, 20 picks, and a 52 passer rating allowed over his first 6 seasons back with the Saints. That's where it all started. And when he was with the Saints, every year he was able to log over 1,000 snaps. Now, of course, injuries derailed him in Baltimore. He was missing 13 games in the 2022-23 season, and his 2024 regression, that really tanked his stock. Still, though, 28 years old, under 30, low cost, I would say project for Spags, may be able to revive him in camp, and that could add depth behind Jamari Connor, Cooks, and Hicks. Williams, I don't believe, is a game day lock for the Chiefs, but if he can get back to his elite coverage, his decent ball hawking skills, I think it could spark some new competition in a room that the Chiefs need some competition in. So I'm intrigued, but again, recent struggles make him a gamble, not necessarily a lock. But again, his career, 469 tackles, 20 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. We know the Chiefs, well known for their heavy reliance on their split safety defensive coverages. They have the third highest usage in the middle of the field open shells in 2024. They were second in quarters coverage league-wide. So Williams would be a fit there. He was considered one of the league's top deep safeties at one point, known for his range, known for his ball skills, his instincts. So he has thrived in split safety looks before, and he can be a strong addition and can be strong at limiting explosive plays over the top for the Chiefs. But again, it's a project. It's budget friendly. It does add some depth, and it could provide some upside to revive his, Saints era form. But again, we look at last year in his 2024 flop, we look at the past 3 years and his injuries, KC would really be banking on a project, and I don't necessarily think banking on a starter. But that's not all. Of course, I talked about how the Chiefs might have missed out yesterday on Brandon Scherff's O-line stability, and now I'm scratching my head over another potential whiff here in free agency, and that was adding safety Justin Simmons. Now, Simmons is is a 4-time All-Pro. He's a turnover machine, 32 career picks, loves to intercept Patrick Mahomes. 2024 season, 71 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. All that shows that he's still got it even at the age of 31. And with the Chiefs secondary allowing over 4,000 passing yards last year, which ranked 22nd in the league, Simmons' range, his communication, that could be the glue or could be, the veteran presence that Spags needs to tighten up the back end of his defense. In his $10 million average per year contract, that would have fit now Casey's $20 million that they have in cap. He'd slide into the split safety looks that we just talked about. Pair that with hooks, pair that with Cook. I love that. I just don't understand why the Chiefs didn't go and try to pursue this. It outshines any depth guys that they have, like Edwards and others. Again, yes, is he too pricey for a contender? You could ask that. But again, after the Chiefs were able to restructure, they have the money, but yet they might be going for that youth push and relying on their youth. So it makes me wonder if Beach was sleeping on this playmaker, or maybe he was just more worried about money going elsewhere and didn't have time to think about that. This is just a whiff to me in my eyes. Again, 71 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 65.8 PFF grade. In his career, 32 interceptions, 70 pass breakups. The veteran has long haunted Mahomes too. He's been able to pick off our quarterback a frustrating number of times, including even last year against Atlanta. Now, of course, Mahomes came out on top, but it just shows that he can intercept the best of the best as well. So his instincts and Spags quarter-heavy schemes, I think that would lock down these AFC West deep threats. And then I think he would be able to mentor these others. I think that's going to stabilize the secondary that did allow some passing over them in 2024. So again, just passing on Simmons feels like missing a decent cap-friendly chance to boost KC's secondary. But his cost at this point in time, at this point in age, that might have scared Beach off for younger options. Or then again, like I said, Beach was just worried about getting deals done elsewhere and didn't want to worry about messing up the safety room. Well, speaking of someone that might have locked up a roster spot, I need to look at this unofficial depth chart again because the Chiefs' first unofficial depth chart for 2025 dropped. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, but the wide receiver room is going to rock with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, and Tyquan Thornton as the top 6. Fourth rounder Jalen Royal seems to be a lock to make the roster, but for the first time in 2 seasons, it seems like he might actually have the rookie route of just kind of staying back, maybe having a small role and just learning from, I would say, the Chiefs don't necessarily have a lot of veterans, but at least people that have some years under their belts, unlike like it's the past 2 seasons where we've seen rookies have to step up and really dive in for the Chiefs. So if KC keeps 7 wide receivers, I think Nico Remigio is fighting for that last spot, and I think he would kick out Sky Moore. I'm kind of stunned that Moore's still in the mix. His career hasn't screamed, roster lock or even someone that can change the game for you. Thornton, though, he is the camp standout right now. He's leveraging his practice squad time last year to get, this offense down. Again, he has that 4.28 speed. He has those gunner skills, his experience. He's, been with the Patriots. He was a second rounder. I think that makes him a roster keeper. 39 catches, 385 yards over 3 seasons. That's not flashy, but again, he's been impressive in camp. He was on the practice squad. He's had time to learn the offense, and him and Mahomes' connection so far in camp has looked really, really well. I would go with Rice, Brown, Worthy, Thornton, Juju, and Royals. And if it's 7, I think Remigio gets the nod. But again, Moore's just more expandable in my book. Thornton, though, 39 catches, 385 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like I said, not that impressive, but elite speed, has that special teams value, has the grasp of this Chiefs offense now. I think that gives him a leg up in the roster crunch, especially setting him apart from newcomers that the Chiefs have brought in or just rookies or underground wide receivers of past camps. So Thornton's camp breakout, Royals roster spot, I think that highlights at least a core of receivers that the Chiefs are trusting. Moore's inclusion does surprise me still. I don't know if Sky Moore will make it to the beginning of the regular season. But again, I would have Thornton there replacing Sky Moore. And if it came down to between Sky Moore or Nico Remigio, I would probably go Remigio. But speaking of camp, let's get down into some updates that we saw on Tuesday, because as you guys know, they are currently in training camp right now. But Tuesday's camp showed that the Chiefs are sharpening their chemistry with only 4 players sidelined. That's good. We don't need, a handful of players like we had last week, but Brenningstool, Brown, Fulton, and Tranquil are all on the sideline right now. But Sky Moore fresh off his hamstring issue. He did jump into some team periods. He was moving sharply, so that's a big step for his roster case. Like I said, he's fighting for that probably last spot there with Nico Remigio, and the O-line is locked in. You got Simmons, Suamataia, Humphrey, and then Smith. Now, Taylor and Moore are taking every other snap at right tackle. So you have 4 of the 5 locked down, or believe locked down there on the line. And the secondary is taking shape. McDuffie and Johnson, they locked down the outside. Connor was in the nickel with Watson stepping in when McDuffie slides inside. And then when we looked at the second unit, it had Jones, Williams, and Roland Wallace holding strong. So Mahomes, though, he was a magician. He was mixing those arm angles. He was hitting every level of the field. His 11-on-11, 7-on-7 dimes to Thornton. Like I said, Thornton, he's really stepping up, including a sideline grab, corner route past Connor. They got that chemistry. It could be fun to see this season. The 9-on-7 run game, it leaned on Pacheco, no surprise there, and Hunt. Once again, really no surprise there. But Steele was getting a nice carry on Tuesdays. That is the surprise there. Mitchell, not really getting as much as we thought there. So kind of surprised there. But then on the third and short drills, usual suspects there that the Chiefs are rocking with: Pacheco, Hunt, Gray, Kelsey, and Rice. But Remigio, Moore, and Smith led the punt returners as well. So we're seeing a lot start to take form. We're seeing a lot special teams offensive-wise, but Mahomes still is looking good. It's getting me excited for this offense. When we're looking at the 11-on-11 targets, Kelsey had 3, Rice had 3, Thornton had 3, Gray had 2, Worthy had 2, Hunt had 1, and Smith-Schuster had 1. But I just love the rising stock that we're seeing here with Mahomes and Thornton. It's fun. It's showing a versatile passing attack. I think that's going to shred these AFC West secondaries, especially if this O-line can hold firm. So, again, Tuesday's camp highlighted Mahomes' brilliance, Moore's recovery, and a settled O-line. But injuries to Fulton, it's keeping the Chiefs on edge here. We want to see him get in there. We want to see some kind of preseason action from him. Not even necessarily a game, but at least some practice would be nice. But that is all that we have here at Cheifs Latest on this lovely Wednesday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of today's episode. Would you like a new addition there in the safety spot, or do we miss out on Justin Simmons, or do you think it wouldn't have mattered? What do you think of Tyquan Thornton as well in his recent surge here in camp? And let me know your thoughts on everything camp-wise that we have been talking about so far. I'm your host, Calvin Silvers. Once again, this is Cheifs Latest, and until next time, have a good one.